All right, what's up, YouTube? So I feel like I'm becoming an old, bitter, grumpy player hater recently, and I don't want to be. And it's a good thing that I have this crippling self awareness and I'm very self critical, or it's like anxiety or something. I haven't seen a therapist yet, but I should. But I haven't. I'm not going to. Anyways, yeah, so that's the only good thing saving me from completely becoming one of these bitter, old, grumpy men out there. This is self awareness. And you'll notice it with my videos in the past where I've been hating on Halo and I was negative recently on the Splitgate 2 Alpha. And then immediately after, I would post a video seeing, like, actually, I changed my opinion. I was too negative, and this is actually the good stuff about the games. Because I feel bad anytime I talk negatively about games or something. Then also I realized, like, it doesn't really matter what I was talking about. Like, it's just superficial things within the game that's very subjective. And I need to realize maybe I'm just not the target audience anymore. And or it's not my type of game and I just shouldn't play it. That's all I have to do instead of hating on the game or saying what I don't like about the game. So yeah, I felt like I was becoming too much of a hater, and I just don't want to be. Because I feel like it's easy to hate on stuff, you know? And there's lots of big YouTubers that succeed on YouTube because of that, because they just hate and it's funny hating on stuff. But I feel like it takes more effort to kind of not and try to actually appreciate the game for what it is and realize it's just not for me. So I'm going to try to do that more. I don't want to make these videos criticizing stuff anymore as much. And yeah, I noticed it's because I'm getting older too. I'm finding like all these new things cringe and all these hero shooters cringe and other aspects of life cringe. And like I was saying before, if not for my crippling self awareness, I would become one of these grumpy, bitter old people that you see like hating on the new generation, even though they were once a new generation. And really quick side note, like it's a red flag when you see someone say that, criticize the new generations, like, oh, millennials are lazy, and now it's, oh, Gen Z are lazy. And it goes all the way back. That's the thing. You have to recognize that every generation is going to hate on the newer generation. And it's always the low IQ or people that are not self aware that will become these people that hate on the newer generation. I always thought, like, oh, millennials, our generation's going to be different. I'm pretty sure like boomers thought this too, or Gen X thought this too when they were young, because boomers were hippies, you know, in the 70s. So I don't know why they're saying anything about anyone. Um, but no, it's like every generation does this. And if your peers start to do this, just immediately put a red flag on them. Because this happened to me too. I always thought, like, oh yeah, millennials, we're gonna be different, right? And then as I got older, I started seeing people in my age group making fun of Gen Z and saying, like, oh, Gen Z's lazy, and oh, Gen Z is so dumb, they don't know anything. It's like, yeah, because they're kids. They're still in school. And that's why you have to label these people as red flags that hate on your generations, because they forget they were kids too. And then they can't think and realize, like, oh yeah, these kids are still learning. That's why they don't know as much. And it's just a big red flag if you ever see people say that about younger generations. That's something that I caught myself too, like thinking all these things, new things are kind of cringe, you know? But then I stop myself and think, like, no, this is just a new generation, and maybe these games and media is not targeted for me because I'm old. I'm not the target audience. I'm not the person that's watching like this stuff anymore or playing these games. My age group, you know? But at the same time, there can be objective criticisms of games and stuff in media, but most of the time, it's going to be like older people complaining about stuff like cartoons or games or toys or something. And it's like, yeah, because you're not in that age group anymore. That stuff isn't targeted for you anymore. So I have to catch myself sometimes when that happens with games, video games especially. So instead of being negative about it, I'm going to try to just understand it and just say, like, oh, yeah, this isn't for me. I'm just going to play the game that I enjoy then. So that's all you have to do. That's all I have to do. I don't have to make this big thing like I did with Halo, right? Where I was like, I hate this game. I'm not playing anymore. I'm installing or uninstalling this game. It's like, okay, why did I say that? Like, everyone, I'm uninstalling this game. It's like, okay. So I'm going to try to do less of that because I think it's cringe. Me being a hater is cringe. Even though I'm thinking all these other things are cringe, but I don't want to. I've seen people talk about it, like psychologists talk about my issue where I think everything's cringe. It comes from like some type of ego embarrassment thing where I put myself in their shoes and be like, oh, I would be embarrassed if I did that, you know? But it's not actually cringe because it's just me putting my limitations on things I'm seeing. Thus, I think it's cringe because I don't put myself out there to do those things. So it's I'm just trying to be more positive, I guess, is what I'm saying here. I don't want to be a hater. Even though, like I said before, when I do those videos like on Halo where I'm negative about it, I immediately do another video, a follow-up video saying like, "Oh, I was too negative. Actually, it's not that bad." Um, so I'm kind of thankful for my self-awareness, even though it's crippled my life. Like just thinking too much about stuff. And sometimes I just never do things because I just think too much about it. I think myself out of it. I'll probably talk more in depth about that in the future. It's a problem I have. And it's kind of led me to being just mediocre in life. Just an average person. But not doing YouTube as much. That's a big thing too. I think I have all these ideas for YouTube, but I just don't do them because I'm too self critical and I just think too much about it and think about me being cringe, and I don't want to be cringe, but you gotta be cringe sometimes to make it, you know, in life. So I'm gonna try, even though it's so hard for me to just be cringe. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna try to be more positive. I don't want to be a hater anymore. I'm not gonna make any more videos on games being like, this is stupid. Why is this hero shooter stuff in this game? And instead, just appreciate it for what it is, you know? And if it's a bad game, I just won't play it. Move on. And again, like I said before, there are cases where it's like objective objectively bad. And for that, I'll just leave it to the actual reviewers, actual people that are like devs or actual people in the video game industry. They could take care of talking about it. Like, I feel like I don't have the authority or the qualifications to talk negatively about games because I'm just a casual, honestly. Um, I'm just a casual gamer, but yeah, in conclusion, I'm going to end this video because I have to try to make my videos a lot shorter. I just ramble a lot. Um, Someone pointed this out to me, and it's true. Like, I really don't think when I put these videos out, it's not organized. So I'm going to try to work on that in the future too. But yeah, I'm going to try to be more positive. I'm going to recognize that a lot of media, since I'm older, isn't aimed at me anymore, you know? So it's going to be slightly different. And if it's these hero shooters that the new generation likes more of or something, then I just have to go with it or just play another game, you know? And try not to find things as cringy as I find them. And the cringe thing, it's like, I don't know, some things are just actually cringe, but other things I start finding cringe, and it's like a problem. It's like sometimes I have these mood swings where I just start finding everything cringe, like just people dancing, even dancing. I'm like, oh, that's cringe. Why are they like moving like that or something? But then the next week I'll be like, oh, that's actually cool how they're able to manipulate their body and like do all these crazy moves. That's actually pretty impressive. So I don't know why I'm like that, but I'm gonna try to be more positive because I don't like when I find everything cringe. It's just like I said before, it's kind of messed up my life because I put a limit on myself because I feel like I would be embarrassed and I'd be cringe to do stuff. And still like I put limits on myself, but I'm trying not to anymore. So that's all this is. Like I'm starting with YouTube videos and not making fun of games that I think are cringe. I'm gonna try to be more accepting and more positive on them because being a hater is actually cringe. All right, that's it. All right, peace. Wait, that didn't make sense. Oh my god, that commenter was right. I'm not organized, and my rants don't make sense sometimes. What's the conclusion to this? I feel like I've said the conclusion 3 times over. That's my issue. So I gotta just cut these videos a lot shorter more than I have. Oh shit.